Good evening, everybody. This is Rick's Coffee House, and we are live tonight with yet another Monday. We have not missed a Monday in a long time, and we will continue to not miss Mondays, and have some wonderful entertainment of all different kinds. And tonight we have a wonderful performer who kind of volunteered to come on with not too much notice, which I love, but she's got plenty of stuff stored up. And Katie, first person on is my sister, who I think you know. Yes, hi. Diana. And hello, Diana. And we will have a nice audience here tonight. Katie, you know, I think Katie is an entertainer, musician, singer, songwriter, teacher, performer, playwright, musical creator, and a hallmark of Sonoma County culture. And so happy to have you there. And I'm sort of a little bit of a slanted hallmark. I'm like, you know, we've both been here for a long time, and we've seen all the changes in Sonoma County, and particularly a lot of the music in Sonoma County. So what I'd like to do, Katie, is I'd like to play a little game with you, and I'd like to start off by asking you, don't worry, it won't be anything puzzling. What I'd like to do is tell us about what you remember as your first encounters with knowing that music was your passion. And then you can segue right into a song of your choice. It'll take a minute. I know that you need a minute to think about it, because I can tell a quickie.
Yeah. But what went through my mind,
go for it.
That question was my first impression in Sonoma County, which was you.
Yeah, Ron and I playing. But what about as a child? Like what
You go first. You go first. Let me think.
Okay. So mine is a double story, and I've talked a little bit about it. My dad played piano. My grandma was a fabulous piano player, a lot like you. And she could play anything by ear, anything written, anything. And she went through the Depression. There's a lot of stuff anyway. And I used to play along, sing along with them. And then at about 8, I wanted to play clarinet in the orchestra. So I got a clarinet, and I failed miserably, because it turned out later we found out that clarinet had a paper towel stuck on the inside that someone tried to clean it with. And that's why no one could play that clarinet. But I incurred the wrath of Mr. James, our teacher, who used to throw his baton at me. So a couple of years later, my Aunt Joan came to me with a violin case, and it had a Sears Roebuck 1905 violin in it. And she said, "Hey, you know, I used to play this. Would you like to play it?" And I said, "Yes, I would." And I went back to Mr. James, went back to that orchestra, and that was really the beginning of me realizing that I was going to be a performer. And very soon after that, I did my first wedding, and I played an old-fashioned song called "Because." You know, Because?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was the 50s and 60s predecessor to For All We Know, which is the 70s and 80s predecessor to Paco Bell Cannon, which is the 90s or let's say the 2000s and 2010s predecessor of Hallelujah. But I mean, there's these iconic songs. Yeah. Anyway, so tell me, now your turn.
Well, I just wanted to complete that one thought where I walked into the Union Hotel, and you were standing. I was coming to my job, and I was playing the piano out there in Occidental, and you were standing on the bar playing the fiddle with your hair out to here. And it was you're an amazing musician, and it was an amazing moment.
I want to tell you, first of all, I put a nice napkin down on the bar so that I wouldn't get the bar dirty. And Ron was on the stage going, "A fiddler on the bar.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy, no? But in our little village of Occidental, you might say that everyone is a fiddler on the bar. And
Yeah, it was magical. It was wonderful. It was
well, that is actually, I believe, in this book I was telling you, a friend of mine has written a book about Ron and my life as musicians, all kind of alternative, wacky musicians, called One Last Song, and I'll bring that on another time. But anyway, it's a happy, sad, happy book. But so piano, you started at 8 or 9 as a
well,
child?
I would say there was a previous memory of it, of music. My dad and my grandfather, my grandfather had a band, and it went on the ferry. There was a ferry between San Francisco and Sacramento, and they played. They called it bluegrass, but what I would call it is Western swing. And as a whenever we had family gatherings, there was all this music going on, with my dad playing guitar and my grandfather playing the fiddle, and it was really everyone was playing. And then at 7, my father, he said, we're going to have an educated musician in our family. And he got piano lessons for me, which I hated because the teacher was an old style teacher, and I was 7, and I didn't really I couldn't even understand what was going on with the notes. I didn't know what they were. So probably we were in Oregon, and then we moved to LA, and he again insisted I had a piano teacher. So about I think about 10 or 11, I started playing, and then I was suddenly playing Beethoven, and
Wow.
it was really easy for me and natural.
Where were you in LA?
Well, in various places. As a small child before Oregon, we were I wouldn't remember it, but we were in Redondo Beach. And then when we went back, I do remember it, we were in, well, we were back and forth there, but we were in Topanga Canyon for a while, Canoga Park, and then Reseda.
Of course, the valley. Topanga Canyon and Tuna Canyon, those were where I always had my first date. Dating was so uncomfortable, and I would always have my friend come with me to the canyon, and we'd go hiking because it was so natural and safe. And it was the canyon thing. It was nice. It was much better than like dinner out or a movie. Katie, I love your performing, what I've heard of it. And I know now that we've connected again, I'm going to hear even more. And so you could take it away with something if you like it. And, I want to say one more thing. Katie has a wide genre of art and music. And so I'm happy to hear wherever your pieces are coming from. Do a couple pieces for us and let us enjoy. And I know some people are probably eating their dinner, and some people are probably sitting on the couch being exhausted from the day. I want to welcome everybody to the coffee house, Rick Concoff's Coffee House. Please like the coffee house because it helps me if you like it. And I'm collecting friends, and it makes me feel important and happy. So like me.
That's
and
good.
if you got friends who can't get on Facebook, go to my YouTube channel, Rick Concoff. It's on there too, and it's also on a Facebook page called "I Was in Rick Concoff's Class," which is a Facebook group of kids of alumni. So it's all over. It's streaming all over.
That's so
Katie,
great.
yeah,
That's great. So I'm everything's backwards on this.
I know, isn't it weird? I hope your music isn't backwards.
No. So,
apparently, I'm left-handed.
I'm involved in a lot of projects right now. Of course, I always am. It's like all over the place. And one of the songs the first song I'm gonna sing is from my new book. Here it is, and I've painted the cover, and it's Songs for Healing and Empowerment. Whoops.
Wow.
And I've worked with, a lot of the lyrics are by a wonderful lyricist in Texas named Jan Aldridge Clanton. And and then Kirk Whipple, who you might have heard of, from Sonoma County. He wrote out all the songs. So I'm going to sing that first song, and I also sing this song most Sundays. Right now it's in my living room on Zoom, but usually I go down to San Francisco and sing at her church, and this is one of their favorite songs. So these are all like easily sung along with, like they're chants and songs that people can sing with. And that's one of the genres I've gone into. I have some more esoteric stuff, but I wanted to write a bunch of songs that people could sing. So here we go. Whoa. Why is my piano doing that?
It's a wah-wah pedal.
I don't have the wah-wah pedal on.
Oh, that's strange.
That is very strange. I'm going to turn off something and see if
okay.
I tested.
Don't worry.
I tested all this right before, and it's not something happened. So, Rick, could you talk about your book or something? I'll be right back.
I'm going to do more than that. I'm going to talk more about Katie. Katie has done, pardon me, these one-woman shows for years, and is now working on a multi-woman show, which I will tell you about. If you look in the middle of the screen, that is a self-portrait of Katie that she herself did, decorated by beautiful traveling lights. And we're just in the midst of celebrating an artist. And you know what? One of the things about this new format is that the technology used to be behind our need. In other words, all this technology was novelty, and overnight became necessity. So the technology isn't quite up with us, especially with musicians. So however it comes across is fine.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, everybody, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, something for the coffee house. If I could serve you a muffin, I would. But we haven't figured out how to do that virtually yet.
So this song, you're welcome to sing along. It's really easy. It's still doing it. I've never had, I've been doing this every Sunday I've been doing it every Sunday for over a year, and I've never had this wah-wah thing. I thought I had it fine.
Don't even fret for a minute, because I will just mention that I believe in celebrating glitches and mistakes, and so I don't have any problem with it, and it's all part of the show.
Okay, I turned it off, and then I've turned it back on, and it takes a few minutes for it to do it. And let me see how the piano is doing. We're just going to go with the piano. I usually play a kind of electric piano for the church, her church service. But here, I'll just do piano. It may be a bit tinny, but here we go.
That's okay.
But I am curious about the other one. It's fine now. Okay, here we go.
Go for it.
I filled her arms at the table of love. Can you hear me okay? I filled her arms at the table of love. I filled her arms at the table of love. Ooh, at the table of love. I saw her light at the table of love. I saw her light at the table of love.
At the table of love.
I saw her light. Woo, there's the lights. At the
table of love.
Ooh, at the table of love. I heard her voice. At the table of love. I heard her voice. At the table of love. I heard her voice. At the table of love, love, table of love. I saw her face at the table of love. I saw her face at the table of love. I saw her face at the table of love, love, love. Ooh, at the table of love. Ooh, at the table of love.
Definitely a sing along. Definitely a sing along. I couldn't stop myself. I had to put myself on mute. Nice. So you have a musical coming up, right? You have some musical you're working on?
Yeah, I'm working on this musical that was canceled, like the night before lockdown or shelter in place.
It was locked down.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, it's a musical. I've written a lot of musicals in the past about different women in history, and this is the first one that is a fantasy. She's a character that hasn't really lived before, and if you have any, what would you like to know about her?
Well, what is her name?
Her name is Mad Hattie. This is her hat.
That's awesome hat.
And
I love it.
I wrote this in 2019, and I'm rewriting it because there's nothing else I can do except I'm going to film it. One of my students, Kenji Fagundes, he's gonna start filming Saturday, and we're gonna film little parts of it on location. And she was a woman who was in some kind of apocalypse. I haven't figured out what kind, but anyway, she goes on it. After that, she loses all her hat and everything, and then she finds it, and she goes on this train, and there's this amazing tea party. And within the tea party, the people who ask her different questions, she calls her spirit back, and she becomes healed. And then she takes a time machine and comes back to 2021, which was, whatever year we're in. And she shares what happened to her on that train that helped her overcome everything.
And it's a play or a musical? Is it a musical?
It's a musical, interactive, steampunk musical tea party. It's
awesome.
Like people on the tables having tea will be part of it in some way.
That's great. That's a wonderful concept. I love that living theater improv. Hit us with another song.
Okay, so I have another song. You know what I did is I have all these. I consider my songs my children, so I have all these like hundreds of songs, and I thought, well, I'm trying to represent each little project, So
great.
So since I was talking about the Mad Hattie, actually the song that you heard at the beginning, I have different words, but we've already heard that song. So I'm going to just sing one of the beautiful chants that, the audience sings as well. And it's just, there it goes again.
That's all right. Your fans say that it sounds just fine.
There we go. I changed the sound. Now I'm doing it. That, love given and love received, held so close to my heart. Love given and love received, held so close to my heart. And I don't know why I took off the hat, because she'll be having this hat while she sings it. Love given, and then everyone sings along. And love received, held so close my heart. Love given and love received, held so close to my heart. And then that just goes on, and the whole tea party is singing it.
Nice. It's such a wonderful concept of involving your audience, because everybody's been so closed in and everybody's been so shut down that just to sit together and have tea. I know so many young people. I want to just, while you're picking another song, I want to just say that young people in particular, finally, and I'm going to throw a little weird pitch here, Starbucks is to be credited for creating a space for people, young people and all ages alike, to hang out without drinking alcohol.
Oh.
And before the coffee house movement, there was nowhere for teens to go. And you go into a Starbucks at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you see kids hanging out there, you see people tutoring. I do my coaching sessions at all these different, not just Starbucks, but we have some cool places here in Retrograde, in Sebastopol, and such, and also the one over by the train station. What is that one called? Anyway, we have great places hanging out.
Oh,
and so
Aromas.
What's that?
Aromas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we have all these places, and right now kids can't hang out. They're stuck in their bedrooms. It's depressing. It's depressing with a small d. So if there are any adults who have teenagers or any teenagers watching, I have found a little solution to this being shut down in your house. And I call it depression with a little d, because depression with a big D needs clinical attention. But we all share some depression with a small d. And I found the trick. And the trick is, when it begins to set in, move. Get out of that room and go to another room. And I found that that's what I do, or go to another space. But our tendency is, when we get down, is to wallow in a particular space and not want to move. But what our soul wants to do is get on its spot. And if we're feeling depressed, we're not exactly on our spot. We got to find our spot. So I hope that's a little help to people who are struggling.
Yes, I'm not trying to do a commercial here, but what really helps me is I'm the lead musician on Sundays at her church, and that Zoom, not only do I enjoy singing, but it really helps me singing. So it's underneath me. It has where my book is, Gaia Guild, and also every Sunday I can sing to you on Zoom at herchurch.org. So did you want me to sing another song?
Please, absolutely. That's what you're here for. I'd love to have you sing another song.
What I wanted to do before I represent another musical I wrote, I wanted to sing a song that Jan Aldridge Clanton and I wrote together, and she's the lyricist in Texas, and this is the book we did together. And this is just a simple little chant, and it's a beautiful chant, and her lyrics are beautiful. But it just gives a very brief example of the beautiful songs, and they're easy to sing. Darkness joins with light, and I rewrote the wrong key. I'm doing great here.
That's all right.
Darkness joins with light, giving power day and night, flowing through the earth, bringing all of life So that, and then you can sing it for a long time. But that kind of went in with what you said. I did that by accident.
Nice.
Showing we
Nice.
are strong and whole.
And at her church, is it a thematic kind of church? Is it a sort of an egalitarian, eclectic kind of church, or is it towards a particular religion, or what is? Tell me about her church.
Oh, geez, I wish I'm not. It's hard for me.
Just a little bit.
Things,
Just
but
a little.
what it is, a lot of the lyrics I write, I can write about that, and Jan writes. They're from a feminine perspective, and not in a feminist perspective, but more in a feminine Gaia kind of idea. So, and there are different themes. They sort of synchronize with. They're kind of the liturgical year, but they're kind of not. Like last week was it was roughly based on a psalm, which was the shepherdess taking care of her flock, but I think the psalm is originally the shepherd. So it's trying to work with the patriarchal, moving out of that kind of deal. So that's a real quick.
I have a view about the Bible, as we call it, the Torah, but scripture, whatever you want to call it. So it's the oldest and best-selling book in history. And I always tell people, because I do teach in a Jewish environment, and kids are always asking me, is it true? Is this true? And my response is, I don't know if it's true, but it's real. Mm-hmm. And if it is true, as fundamental people believe in all religions that the Bible is verbatim true, and it really happened, that's amazing. However, if someone channeled it and wrote the story, it's even more amazing. And it's a little bit like, for all religions and all people in the earth, and the Quran too, it's like a jigsaw puzzle with one piece missing, and we're that piece and we insert ourselves. And so there's so much good from religion, and we're in a moment where religions need to reach out and to share the good parts with each other so that we can come together. And I was just thinking, as you were talking, Katie was a teacher, or is a teacher, but had a studio right next to my studio in the basement of a church, a Methodist church. And she had little ones coming in and out all the time, playing piano and singing. And you're such a good role model, because these kids are moving into something that we did not experience, which is, and we are beginning to move away from duality, which is to say, feminine does not mean not masculine. And masculine, but I love that. And I heard that in what you're saying. And so we have all these new ways to identify and be that do not exclude little girls from playing forcefully and hard, and little boys from playing softly and sweet. I know I always wanted a doll when I was a little kid, and boys didn't get dolls. I might have had one, but not like, not what I really wanted. So anyway, I'm off on that tangent. So tell me another song. Give me another song. Love to hear another song.
Okay, so another project that I still have, and I want to get it out there again eventually. I did it a couple of years in the studio right there in the basement. But I wrote my first one-woman musical was about Mary Cassatt, the American painter, and she left Pennsylvania because, she left Pennsylvania because her career could go nowhere, and she went to Chicago, and they had the Great Fire. burned all her paintings. She barely escaped with her life. And then she decided to go to Paris. And when she was in Paris, she just fell in love with the art, and she met Edgar Degas, and the rest is history. So there's a lot of songs in it, but one of the songs is actually not sung by her. It's sung by one of the Impressionists. So I'll just give a little bit of an example.
And let me just tell you before you start that, there's a few lovely comments on here. I need my glasses. You know how that is. Someone writes, named Stacy, it affirms our humanity and celebrates who we all are in the image of the great mother of old. Stacy also said, honors the divine feminine in all. And she, at some point, she has a request of Roses and Birds, a song. And she's got some nice things to say. So I just wanted to share that. So take it away.
Thank you, Rick. Yeah. Should I do the Roses and Birds?
Would you? Yeah, do it after that. You can do this. Do the song you were going to do, and Fall with Roses and Birds will make Stacy and a lot of other people happy.
Okay, great.
All right.
And she's my boss. I better do. No.
Okay, is she from the church?
Yeah, I'm joking.
Hi, Stacy. Welcome.
No,
I love it.
I'm glad she wrote that because I'm horrible explaining. I write lyrics, but lyrics are not, the same thing.
Right, of course, they're art.
So what happens is there's an Impressionist out on the street corner talking about how unfair the art scene is, and they're being discriminated against. Their paintings aren't allowed at the salon. So this is what the Impressionists had to say. I haven't sung this for a long time. Oh, shoot. Let's be real, Courbet said. I don't want to paint another goddess who is dead. That's fine for some society. I prefer my ladies with a touch of impropriety. Now the salon does not agree. They don't want a painting that'll show the ladies sipping tea. At all their paintings, they laugh and they mock. They say we all are monkeys with a stolen painting box. A cartoon appeared in the newspaper of a pregnant woman being barred from our exhibition by police, lest her unborn child be marked by the experience. We'll meet Monet, impressions of. He sails down the river while painting his lady love. He is so poor, like everyone. They even threw him out of the inn on his naked buns. Oh, there's Renoir, such a happy man. He loves to paint the ladies and speak in Parisian slang. People find us eccentric with our beards and our hair. We just want to paint our pictures out in the plain old air. And then I sing about Manet and Degas and the cafe at the cafe. Nouvelle Athens. We all get together and talk about our friends, but the sweet dames do not attend. The picture on the ceiling surely does offend. It is a rat, and dead at that. Degas keeps his wit up and his ladies in the vat. Pizarro can teach a rock how to paint. Cézanne doesn't bathe and makes Manet faint. And then it goes on. It's a long song, and then at the very end it says, now there's Cassatt, Mary, my dear. She's the American painter that joined us last year. She has such class, a brilliant mind. How she could think this eccentric crew was such a wonderful find. She rides a horse like Buffalo Bill. She has splendid brushwork, but her French is stranger still. Renoir says she carries her easel like a man. Her paintings have charm but power. So says Gauguin.
Aha. Yes, and something that you mentioned before about being able to say it in music and not necessarily say it in talking.
Yeah.
We have so many young people, and really people of all ages in our society, who need to say things, but they can't say things. They can't say it right. It can't come out right. And actually, rap and hip hop rap and poetry slams and that kind of thing has really made it possible for people to, and young people especially, to say it. And if you really listen to the lyrics of some of these songs, I mean, yeah, some of them are a little bit crass and a little bit nihilistic. And there's a lot of them that have a lot to say. And, we've been saying things for millenniums with songs. And
Mm.
so I love that you have the power to really put your ideas and your thoughts out there in song. That's lovely. Can we hear that other song? What was the song? Roses
The
and
birds, definitely. I just thought of something, Rick, when
go
you
for
said
it.
that. I was born tongue-tied. So I did not speak for a number of years when most children are speaking. So, maybe you're right. Maybe the songwriting has really helped me express. So
Absolutely.
it's funny because I'm not good. I can't speak in educational ease. I can't talk about how I teach. The kids love
Right.
it. They learn. I have trouble talking about concepts, but I can write songs about them. So that's
Right. And
good.
we all have these Achilles heels. Mine, which I'll reveal publicly, is that I've never been in a play.
I'm
And
surprised.
I can sing hundreds of songs, and I've given speeches. I was in the debate team and speech, tournaments. I could give 8-minute speech, and I can do a monologue, and I can teach without a script and without a lesson plan.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you have me memorizing something, I'm challenged. And I think a friend of mine who is my voice teacher, Kevin, says that what you have to do is become the character. And when you become the character, the lines just, they plant themselves in you. I love that concept. And I think that's probably what you learned to do as a very young child as a coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
that.
And I do add lines on the
Right.
spot. Like
Of
some of
course.
the best video, I sent that video to you. Some of those lines weren't in the script. I
Right.
rewrote it on the spot.
I love it. That's cool. We call that emerging art.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really
Thank you.
nice. Nice.
Well, this roses and birds. Should I just mention how it happened?
Yes,
It's
please.
it's like a hit song at her church. It's we sing it a lot, and people seem to like it. It was going to. What's interesting about her church is that it used to be a Lutheran church, which is a Protestant church, and yet we are celebrating some of the Madonnas, etc., just like a Catholic church would. So this was going to be the celebration of Guadalupe, Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I was raised a Protestant, so I
Hmm.
knew nothing of Guadalupe. So I read about the story, and it's a fascinating story with Guadalupe appears to this man 500 years ago and tells her that she tells him that she wants a, a church built for her, and he goes to the priests, and they say that's ridiculous, you didn't actually, that's nonsense. And then he goes back, and she has roses blooming in the middle of the winter, birds start singing, and he goes back and he undoes his apron, and all these flowers fall out, and
Mm.
and then they all kneel and they build the church. And And that apron is still there. It's hung in Mexico, and you can go visit it. So this is a song that I felt was inspired by this story. Oh, actually, it's not a story though. It's more of a prayer.
Can't wait.
Go to her with your anger. Go to her with your doubt. Go to her when you're full of fear. Go to her in confusion, and she will give you roses, and she will give you birds that sing, and she will give you the deepest love she brings. Go to her when you've lost all hope. Go to her when you need a friend. Go to her with gratitude. Go to her with a loving heart, and she will give you roses, and she will give you birds that sing, and she will give you the deepest love she brings.
So very nice. I can
you.
imagine singing that in church. And
yeah.
I think that, you know, there's a couple things I want to mention. First of all, you emulate some really important virtues. And one of them is humility. And I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that you're humble. You're not above anybody. You're equanimous, and I really respect that. And I was thinking this week about flaws. You know, we all have flaws.
Oh, yes.
And the difference between flaws and virtues is that when we have a flaw, our job, in order to not crumble and decay, is not to become the flaw. It's when someone becomes their flaw that they inflict it on other people, and it's painful, and it's toxic, and it's traumatic. A virtue is something we can become. You know, we want to become honest. We want to become humble. So I just had this realization as you were playing that the difference between virtues and flaws is that it's great to become a virtue, and it's important not to become a flaw, to recognize our flaw and to acknowledge our flaw, and to make it part of the perfection that is our destiny, right? Because when we're looking forward, our destiny is infinite possibilities, but when we're looking backwards, our destiny is written in stone. So, you know, as the Dalai Lama says, the quickest thing you can do when you hurt someone or make a mistake is to fix it. Maybe even before or at the same time as being sorry. So that's I think that song brings a very comforting energy to the listener. And I could just see people singing it in the church. And your voice beckons for participation. So it really calls for people to join in. And sometimes when the church or the synagogue song leader has a performance energy, it's hard to join in, but I can see how yours is like, come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. And so I do want to say something at this time about about the coffee house. The coffee house came about because I have a desire for well, let's put it this way: there's 3 pathways to a better world, I think, and we need to walk all 3 of them. The first one is better teaching. We really need to teach to become better teachers to our children. Number 2 is parents. We need to become better parents, better uncles, better aunts, better grandparents. And most important, we need to participate in intergenerational collaboration. And I look forward to the day when we can, I've collaborated with a guy who's a producer on a rap song, and we kind of each wrote 2 versions of the rap song. Mine's like a 70s version and his is like a now version. So that feels so good. And that being said, working musicians have to support themselves. And during the pandemic, we've not been able to go out and do gigs, which is a huge dent in what the musician can do, because these days, even if you have music, if you sell it on Spotify or you sell it on Apple Music, you get a fraction of a penny for every sale or every view or every stream. And eventually I hope to have a venue on the coffee house for people to sell their books, their CDs, their tapes, their music, their MP3s. And so there's a Venmo right there. It says Katie. Oh, I left off the M. I'm going to fix that during your next song because that would never get to you. Katie Ketchum.
I didn't catch it either.
It's a cute song though. Katie Ketchum. Cute little lyric. All right, so I will fix that, but Katie Ketchum for Venmo. And even if it's $5, $10, $20, $25, or $2,500, it's a gift to be simple. It's a gift to just give a little gratuity, we call it, to the musicians. So if anybody's so inclined, I will fix her name. And Katie, will you treat us to another song?
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay.
And I wanted to just say that if you want to have me sing to you every Sunday, I do on Zoom, and you can find the Zoom through herchurch.org, or you could even write to me if you have any questions. It's katieketchumband@gmail.com. And also, one more thing I got to promote is Saturday, I'm doing a project with some people in Florida called World Walk, and it'll be a film and question and answer of my being an artist during this time. So my question to you, Rick, is I have a song that's pretty radical, and it's from my musical about Mary Magdalene. And do you think
go for it?
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no censorship on this program. No one cares enough.
It's controversial. And I did this show at her church, and I also did 28 shows at Sacramento Theater.
Oops.
I hit the big time. So here we go. This is Mary Magdalene, and she says, in the year 591, Pope Gregory decided that I, Mary Magdalene, was the prostitute spoken about in the Bible. My name wasn't even in that story at all. I have been called a prostitute for 14. Oh, I forgot my boa. Oh, dang. Oh, well.
She has a boa around her.
I have been called a prostitute for 1,400 years. How would you like to be on your back that long? Pope Gregory, I have something to say to you. I'm not comfortable in this position. For 1,400 years you kept me down. You threw away all my gospels. Why did you take away my crown? How can you call it Christianity? Leaving out Christ's main amour. I want my place back right by his side. This isn't working anymore. 2,000 years of slaughter in the name of Jesus Christ. This was not the game plan. You can take it from his wife. Pope Gregory, you were a saint. all your money to the poor, and wrote the Gregorian chant in that sermon so long ago. Why did you say I was a whore? 2,000 years of women in Christianity, treated like a doormat because of what you did to me. I'll forgive you like I was taught to, but I want something in return. In the future, I'm an equal. Burn, baby, burn!
You know, that reminds me of a song that we used to sing at camp, which I don't know where it came from, but you know, 5'2", and this one was a spoof on it. It just started out, 5'9", Palestine changes water into wine. Has anybody seen my Lord? He's so neat. He's so cool. He just walked across my pool. Has anybody seen my Lord? And et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, so these are some fun songs. And wow, that was a good one.
Irreverent, a little
irreverent. Yeah, irreverence. I have an acronym I learned at one of those seminars you go to get college education units, which I don't have to do, but I do anyway. And it was called Dealing with Difficult People. And the saying I learned, and basically you find out that you're the difficult person. It's how do you deal with yourself when you're difficult. They can't help you with the difficult person. But anyway, it is, he has an acronym, and it's called Q-tip. And it's a verb. Q-tip, you Q-tip it. So that person I was talking about that's toxic, that lays their whole past on you like a dirty towel, and you cringe, and what you do is you Q-tip it. Q-tip means quit taking it personally.
There we go.
Because 80%, the study behind this saying or this acronym, is 80% of what people dump on you isn't about you. And if you say Q-tip out loud, they're just gonna think you're weird. But if you say Q-tip to yourself, it really changes the dynamic. I'm gonna Q-tip this, and my kids have even fired that acronym back at me. So, and I actually I've made up a couple acronyms, and another acronym which I actually authored is called WIMP. W-I-M-P. Don't be a wimp. And it means when you've had an argument with someone and you've won, don't be a wimp. Wimp, ask yourself the question, what is my part?
There you go.
What is my part?
Yeah.
Because it's never 100% and there's zero the other. Anyway, when you come up with a good acronym, it's kind of like a spiritual moment, because it works, and you're like, how'd I do that? Wow, TGIF. I mean, who said TGIF first? Bravo.
That's great.
Anyway, I mean, if you have another song, I'd love to hear another song. Do you have any? Let's see if anybody else is requesting anything else. You have all these people. I fixed the Venmo. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah, thank you.
And there's a whole bunch of people on here. I'm trying to see if anybody. I guess my question is, if you had to pick a song, and by the way, apparently you have a great album available on Spotify called Tree of Life.
Oh yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's what Catherine W says.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Alice says you rock. We're so lucky to have you. And I think it's Iceland says, I also love Rose. Aislinn, yeah. So you got a lot of people that love you. And I want to tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to tell you something, and it's going to give you a little time to think of a song, either from that album or a song, that if I said to you, Katie, I'm having one of those days. We talked about it before the show. Depression, or I think I talked about it during the show. Depression with a small D. And I said, Katie, sing me something. Like, give me some hope. And while you're doing that, I will tell you something very cool. In Aramaic, which was the original written language of the Bible, before Greek or Hebrew, before Hebrew for sure. And Aramaic, and the Hebrew word for love is ahava. Ahava, which is a beautiful exhale. You can't say love in Hebrew without exhaling ahava. Now, if you go to the etymology and you look up the root word ahava in Aramaic, you don't get love, you get I give. And hasn't love become so much? Love's become so much about I take, I get.
Yeah.
So I just love that. And so how would you bring some love, loving kindness and heart to me and to folks out there who are having a hard time, who have lost someone, who are ill, who are lonely? Loneliness is endemic right now. Who are not liking themselves very much. Because I feel what I get from you is that you have a healing power in your music. And I've been looking forward to this because I love all kinds of music, and I love music that that helps us to heal, I guess is what I'm saying. So I know I put something really big on your shoulders right now. I've asked you to fix the world, but sing me something that I can take into my, I love my pillow. Do you love your pillow? So many people have a pillow. There's a pillow thing in this world. We all love our pillows. Some of us even take them with on trips. And when I sink my head into my pillow in this phase of my life, my day is done, and I exhale. And I take into my sleep the joys of the day and the challenges of the day, and I mix them all up in a blender, and I try to wake up and not be a better person or not do it all right, but just forgive myself and be part of the world of giving and receiving in love. So how about that for a tall order?
Wow, that is. So it's funny. I don't have it handy here, but I actually wrote a song inspired by some Aramaic words. But it's interesting because I was going through some of my songs today, and this song, it's a country song, and I play classical piano. I have some, I don't know how to put it. I'm not trained. But I'm not trained in country music, but my grandmother loved country music, and she was from Texas. And this song, she lived to be over 100 years old. And I think I wrote this for her 90th birthday, not her 100th, but her.
What was her name?
Her name was Iola Ketchum.
I think I saw a picture of her on your Facebook.
Yes.
With your grandfather. We have a tradition. I have a tradition that when we say someone's name, when we talk about someone who passed, we say their name and we say, may their memory be for a blessing. So may Iola's memory be for a blessing. And her spiritual DNA lives in you.
Oh, that's beautiful. I also forgot to mention my mother passed away in September. So, and she loved Iola. It wasn't her mother, it was her mother-in-law, but she loved her. Her name is Janice Ketchum.
Well, may her memory be for a blessing.
Thank you. So this song, I think it might meet it might meet everything you were asking for. This is a song of how she, I don't know, how she went through the world for over 100 years and how she was in the world and what she gave to me. And oh gosh, I'm choking up here. And
Oh,
I haven't sang it for a long time, so the chords may be wrong. I noticed I didn't make a chord change in one of my
we
songs.
we don't know the chords and the notes. So I'll tell you really quickly, Ron and I made a Jewish album. We made 3 Jewish albums. And we actually sold a lot of them over time. Although I must admit, I found one in a Goodwill store one time with a hole punched in it for 50 cents. I had to buy it. It just looked so lonely there. We have one song where there's a passage and it goes, Ron plays bum 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 bum, but he goes and his pick gets stuck on a string. You've heard that happen with guitar. So we only noticed it in the final mix and it was too late to fix. So we performed that mistake hundreds of times in our career so that if anybody heard on the album, they wouldn't think it was a mistake. So God bless mistakes.
That's funny. And
Yeah.
I didn't actually practice this song because I wasn't going to sing it. I just put it there to remember that I'd written it. So
Don't sing it, deliver it.
okay, there we go. So this is called To the Lady, and they called her Oli Ketchum. Not Iola. Iola is my middle name, and Merce was what I called her. And I think it's because I started calling her Merce when I was a little tiny one, because I think she said "mercy me" a lot. I think that's where I got that. Lady who is dear to us sits there on her 90th, holds a secret to long life. If we stop and listen close, maybe one day we'll boast that we could make it this far. One thing that she always does says howdy folks and welcomes us. Always greets her neighbor with a smile. Always thankful for what she's got, never dwelling on what's not, accepting life one and all. She's always moving on, moving on with a song. She's always moving on, moving on with a song. Always wants the best for all, never wanting us to fall, even makes us laugh when we're down. Nothing gets in her way to make the best of her day. She is dearly loved all around. She's always moving on, moving on with a song. She's always moving on, moving on with a song. Taking time to laugh and play, joke around throughout her day, sharing with us stories of her life. Hugs and kisses she always gives, love is the way she likes to live, for this is what to us she's handed down. She's always moving on, moving on with a song. She's always moving on, moving on with a song.
So nice, and so nice to pay tribute. An interesting thing about grandparents is that, I don't know about you, I think we're about the same vintage, and when I was growing up, we had aunties and uncles and grandparents who taught us the virtues, who taught us how to live a good life generally. And sometimes they taught us things that our parents couldn't teach us. And in the 50s and 60s, as aunties and uncles and his families dispersed. We lost that mentorship. What was born was therapy, marriage and family therapist. It's like it came out of that loss.
Yeah.
And so I say this in a positive way. The therapist, and I do coaching. I'm not a clinician, but I do coaching, and I work with kids. Are hired aunties and uncles.
Yeah.
We are right, and that's the role. And we had heroes. And now when you ask a lot of young people who their heroes are, they'll tell you not a hero, but an idol. Someone who does something really good, but no, who's your hero? And we have these heroes. There's a little exercise I do with some of my students and the parents I work with, which is to name 3 people. Number 1, someone who's your hero, who you've known, alive or not alive. Number 2, someone who's your hero who you never met, alive or not alive. And number 3, who are you a hero to? And almost everyone's got some little person somewhere in their life that that they're a hero to. And to really help young people understand that heroes, we want to emulate them because of what they represent and how they behave, and not what they can do well. Right? So the People magazine issue with the 100 best looking people, when I used to get that magazine, I had a picture of myself and I would stick it in one of the creases of the magazine. You'd be turning and there's Rick. You know, we're all beautiful people. I mean, that's such an insult. And we make kids achieve, and we make kids strive, and we make kids perform and look good. And actually what they really need is to be children. And so I feel like every time I saw a child, and I used to teach violin lessons in your room, actually. I used to be in that room. I rented that room for many years, and I had orchestras in there and students in and out and in and out. And, you know, we hear about the sad things sometimes about our students that we're sad to hear when we lose one once in a while, as I have. Yes. What we don't hear is the successes. And we don't know what we said to a young person today that made a difference. We don't know that something we said to a young person made a difference. Wow. And I bet if people would write down the thing that someone said to them that made a difference and try to remember that, and if the person's still around, let them know. I've had students do that, and it's powerful for sure. I'd love to close it out with a final song, and if there's anything else you'd like to say.
Oh, it's just been a delight to be here with you, Rick. Thank you for inviting me.
It's my coffee house. It's my little coffee house with a brick wall that you can walk through.
Oh gosh, it was really fun, and I have way too many songs to pick from. But
you pick one while I'm making a pitch here for the Venmo. If anybody would like to contribute to Katie's Venmo, that would be wonderful. All you have to do for me, all I'm asking for is for you to like me. That sounds so shallow and try. Just like my coffee house page, because it helps. And healing my body, healing my soul. Great Katie song. Boy, Stacy is an amazing fan of yours.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my God, Katie, that's you. Catherine. Oh my God, Katie, that's you. So wow, that's the most comments I've gotten on one show. It's just loaded with comments.
Oh, and that's wonderful.
When you watch it, you'll see those comments go by. And yeah, so feel free to close it out with a song. And I have enjoyed being here. If anybody in the audience knows a musician who has a passion and a bit of a gift for performing and loves performing and would like to share that with us, then they can get in touch with me by any one of these Facebook connections, or simply by emailing me at concoff@yahoo.com. The easiest email, concoff@yahoo.com. CONCOFF. On and off with C's before it. Pronounced backwards, it's Foknok. So it's a good name.
Okay.
Katie can paint, and Katie can sing, and Katie writes stories, and I am just we need more Katie Ketchums, and you've given so much to children and to audiences and to your friends and to the people at your church. Her church, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Wow. How can people just go right on and watch it? Do they need a password or something? How does it work?
They just need the Zoom number, and you can get that from writing to her church or to me, and you can get it from there.
Okay, or if you want me to pass it on, I will too. Just send it to me. I'll be glad to post it. That sounds like a great place to be on whatever morning it is. Thursday, Sunday.
I know, it's great. So I think Pastor Stacy Bourne asked for the healing our bodies, and it's actually it's been rewritten with Jan Aldridge's Clanton. We collaborated and made a new song. So I'll do a little bit of that and then go into an upbeat song that's also from the book.
Great. And Stacy says, go to the website. Stacy says if you go to the website, that's a good way. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you. Blessed Sophie, how blessed is she, coming to set us free, healing our bodies, healing our minds, healing our spirits. Blessed Sophia, blessed is she, coming to set us free. Just like a stream flowing through my mind, Spirit flow through me, the Spirit I know, just like a light, so bright, Spirit flow through me, just like a stream flowing through my soul, Spirit flow through me, the Spirit I know, just like a light, so bright, Spirit flow through me. Wish I had another camera.
Woo!
Just like a stream flowing through my soul, Spirit flow through me, the Spirit I know,
I know.
like a light, so bright, Spirit flow through me. One more time, here we go. Just like a stream, flowing through my soul, flowing through my soul. Spirit flow through me, Spirit flow through me. No.
Spirit will go.
Oh, light so bright, Spirit
Light so bright.
me. Just like a light so bright, Spirit flow through me. Oh, I was trying to show you my hand. Oh, well.
Oh, man, that was a nice lead there. Woo! Well, wow. We were in sync. So thank you, Katie, for coming tonight. This is every Monday night. Can you believe next Monday I'll be on the road but we're going to have a really special guy. He's a young student of mine, an alumni. His name's Ian Lubar, and he sits there with his guitar. He's like you, Katie. He's got about 40 students, like you and I were at one time, and he is a killer guitar player. He's a former student in my classes in the Jewish community, and Ian's agreed to come on. I'm going to feature some of his stuff during the week so people can see he's wildly great at guitar. He is it's not a diamond in the rough. He's a diamond in the making. He's a really, really good guitarist. And then the week after that, we're having Nate Lopez, who plays the 8-string guitar.
Wow.
We've had Lars Rossiger, who plays the 6-string guitar. And then, believe it or not, on the 17th of May, I step into the limelight with my buddy, Jonathan Marmolzat. And we're going to play 6 originals from our album that we did many years ago with Ron called Scenes from Childhood. We stole that title from Schumann. Yes, we did. Scenes from Childhood. But no one knew because they know it's a beautiful thing. If you've never, I love that one, Scenes from Childhood, Stranger in a Strange Land, I think it's called. Beautiful piece. And we'll do some original songs. And then the week after that, I mean, it just keeps going. The week after that is going to be Patrick. Again, Ron's son. Patrick Atchison, playing with his good buddy Ben, and then Patrick's going to play on his birthday, and then I mean, it just keeps going. And I'll tell you another thing, Katie, just so you can extend out. On the 21st of June, there's a woman named Dolly Rappaport, and Dolly Rappaport, look her up, Rappaport. She is such a great songwriter and singer, and one of those people you wonder, why did we never hear of her? We played a bunch of bar mitzvahs and weddings for her family, and we became kind of a fixture. And she's writes some beautiful songs, which I'll also play. So I'm going to just keep doing this. And I did have one idea that maybe you can help perk with me. Wouldn't it be great if we could broadcast some of these shows in jails and prisons? And give people something to, let them know that we make mistakes too.
I could be like Johnny Cash. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've been looking up old artists too, and it's really fun to look back and see all those oldie songs. So we got a lot coming up. Katie, thank you. Everybody, Venmo, Katie Ketchum and you can get her book. You can go over to that church. I'm going to check out that church sometime. That sounds really good. And what I want to say is now I might even bill you as kind of a modern fusion show tune gospel singer. You've got it all going. So Katie, blessings to you and to all the work you've done and to how hard it's been to make it through this time and how you've survived and started your new story. So blessings. And we'll see you next time. So if anybody wants, great. And this will be archived. So you want any last words? Otherwise, we're going off.
Oh, just thank you. I've had a wonderful time.
You're welcome. It's like a visit. We should call it the living room show. We just sit in the living room and talk in our easy chairs. Take care of yourself and be well.